In the world of gardening, you hear many advice, many tips from different gardeners all the time. And most of the time, they can be very confusing. Right? Sometimes they can contradict each other, or sometimes none of them actually make sense. And in the end, after all these headaches, after all this information overload, right, you realize none of them are experts because no one knows exactly what's the right way to do it. So you see, in gardening, many people give advice, give tips based on their experience. And they are usually too focused on the exact techniques, the exact steps that they did, and they overlook the principles behind it. Right? So without understanding the principles and you implement what they told you to do, right? You did exactly what they told you to do. Right? You cannot replicate the same kind of success as they have. Right? What works for them will not work for you. Right? Simply because their environment, their growing environment is very different from your own growing environment. They have growing conditions that you don't have. Right? And therefore, you cannot do exactly the same way as they did. So what successful gardeners do is that instead of just listening or just replicating what they say, right, duplicating the same exact steps, right, and following the exact same advice, right, they turn these instructions, these advice into knowledge. So they think about why they give such advice. Why did they tell you to do it this way, right? So, well, just a quick example, just like they say that they water their plants twice a day, and what they actually mean is that they want to keep the soil moist at all times. Or another example, they say that you should be growing your plant beside a window. And when you find out why and you ask them more questions, you realize that they usually mean that they are growing it under direct sunlight for 4 hours a day. So you see, you turn these tips, these instructions into valuable knowledge. Right? You understand the principles, you understand the growing conditions by translating their instruction, their advice into good information. Right? And then with this valuable knowledge, you can now implement and modify the technique, modify the methodology, the method, right, based on your growing conditions, based on your growing environment. So you actually form your own way of gardening. And if you think about it, in using this way, you actually know more things than the other gardeners. Right? Success in gardening is really not about searching for the best technique, but it's knowing how growing environment and the growing conditions are met. Right? There's no secrets in gardening. There's no one way or one right way to do gardening. So the next time you listen to advice or listen to tips, find out why. Right? Ask the gardeners more questions. Find out the growing condition. Find out the underlying real principles behind them, and that's how you become a better gardener. So comment below if you have learned something new today. And if you have any gardening questions or any things that you want me to review, a certain plant or a certain way of gardening, you can also comment below. And if you want to learn more about how I do gardening, so make sure you subscribe to my channel. Right, so go on, click on the subscribe button below. And until next time, I will see you in my next video.